It thinks I'm live. Good morning. It's Monday. It's Monday, January 11th, 2020. I'm going to say that again just in case. It's Monday, January 11th, 2020. My name is Terry Morgan. We are here for Beginning Tai Chi. I am starting a new series today. And we started with technical difficulties. Yes, we did. Alright, so I spent all day yesterday trying to get this nice fancy new GoPro camera that I got hooked up. It's not happening. So I'm going to try again today. I got to call them up and talk to them what they say is supposed to work in their software. It ain't happening. So we're still using the same camera that we had. It's going to work. Something is going to work. Trust me, it's going to work. Alright, so we're going to start today with some very basic things. This is beginning Tai Chi, and my goal is that this is for people who are just getting started. This is more explanation than most folks probably going to want, but I'm going to try and temper it a little bit. There are certain things that if you have them, if you understand the principles behind them, if you can apply those principles to your practice, you will gain significant advantage and be able to practice well. If you don't have those things, it ain't going to happen no matter how long you practice. That's the unfortunate truth. Stories from my own past. I had a gentleman came to talk to me about studying. He'd practiced for 10 years. He'd been studying diligently. Not somebody who just started yesterday. And the first thing that I noticed about him was he had no root. His stances were wobbly, and it was as if he wasn't fully connected. 10 years? A couple of months of practice? Yeah, sure, that's expected. Even for some people, depending on their instruction and what they do, a couple of years of practice. It's 10? No. I asked him a number of questions, and what I discovered was that as he had been learning, no one had ever asked him, no one had ever insisted that he focus on the fundamentals. He wanted to progress. He wanted to move things along. Most of us do, right? So he did. And nobody ever told him, hey, in all of this moving along, if you don't pay attention to your fundamentals, you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. A level of proficiency. It's not going to happen. So, what am I talking about? You had to put the coffee down, right? I have coffee. Gotta have the coffee. Alright. So, fundamentals. We're going to start with a basic stance. Right? Okay, and my hands are here just so that I don't wave them around and do something else with them. Because I'm thinking about my feet. Alright? My feet are about shoulder width apart. Give or take. If I'm here, it's okay. If I'm here, it's okay. If I'm here, it's not okay. And if I'm all the way out here, I could probably, but it's not okay. That's not what we want. What we're looking for with this particular stance is good body alignment. Hips and the shoulders work together. So we have this idea that the outer body and the inner body are connected, and that there are specific connections that go along with. So the outer body is your physical body, obviously. The inner body is the breath, the way in which the muscles work, the chi, the inner energy of the body, and our mind, intent, energy, spirit, that all combine together in our Taiji practice. At the beginning, we have to focus on the physical fundamentals, because everything derives from being in balance. If your body's not in balance, nothing else is going to work. How do we get there? This basic stance is one of the first ways. Just standing here, right? That's it. You're just standing there, not doing anything. Except inside, there's really quite a bit going on. Inside, I'm going to start with the feet. At the base of the foot, this is my palm. I'm not going to get my foot out of my shoe. It's not happening. This is my foot. Pretend this is my foot. Alright? So I want my toes to grip the ground just a little bit. I don't have a thumb on my foot, right? Grip just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little, so that there's a little bit of pull up through the front and the arch of the foot. The heel sinks down. So this is suspended, this is connected, and this is connected, right? Connect here, suspend here. As you do that, pull up through the lower part of the leg. This is another part of that physical stuff. You need to understand your basic anatomy and physiology, and I'll talk a bit more about that as we move along. But for right now, pay attention to pulling up from the lower part of the leg. Right? You're going to pull you're trying to open the joints in the foot. There's several of them right in here. So, leg bone fits down in here. There's space. There's supposed to be space. Let me put it that way. There's supposed to be space. Leg bone comes up, connects to the knee. Alright? Pull up. Same thing through the upper part of the leg. Pull in across the hip. So we have a large muscle that goes across here. Pull that in. So this comes across and pulls in, and this comes across and pulls in. Okay? Pull up through the middle. Pull up through the spine. Keep the shoulders down. So you want to know this. You want to actively open here. Right? Open this and keep it down. That has the result of opening the back of the neck and the neck spine as you pull up through the crown of the head. Crown of the head here, right? In traditional Chinese medicine, this point, crown of the head, is called the Bai Hui. In theater and in dance, we use an exercise that pulls up. It's as if there's a string and you can pull it up and lower it down. This kind of suspension, of being suspended over your legs and connected. So we're not floating the same, excuse me. In dance, there are times when we want to make ourselves heavier, and there are times when we want to make ourselves lighter, so that there is that appearance of floating. In Tai Chi, we don't want the appearance of floating disconnected. We want the appearance of calm, relaxed movement that has more of a sense of water than air. It's fluid, but there's substance to it. It's not empty. All right? So, as I've been talking, I'm just standing here. All right? I'm going to stop for a second, and we're going to move on to some other things. This is an exercise, just standing. Hands at the lower dantian, hands at your sides, your choice. His feet about shoulder width apart. As you stand here, turn your focus inward and start looking for where there is any tension. Found some. Shoulder, right up here. Where there is anything that is out of alignment, where there is any part of your body that seems to be tense or not as relaxed as it could be. You're looking for all of those points, and as you find them, just as I did, and right there was a little bit of tension in my upper arm that was pulling against my thumb. Let it go. And letting it go is harder than we generally imagine. It sounds really easy. I found this little part of tension over here, I'm just going to let it go. Well, how do I do that? What do I let it go. Don't keep it. Adjust that part of your body, relax that muscle, so that the tension isn't there anymore. It takes practice, it takes a bit of concentration, and it takes perseverance to develop the skill to do nothing I did nothing. You understand? I'm hoping that was enough to make my point. All right? So, the next thing we want to pay attention to in Tai Chi practice is our weight. How we transfer the weight. So, this idea of standing straight and just standing there for a minute or two. A minute or two is a long time. I stood there and did nothing for probably about 15 seconds, and you thought it was a long time. You thought there was something wrong with the video. I bet. I bet you did. I would have. All right, so, that standing practice, how the weight's distributed, we want to take that and apply a general position. Again, we have weight transfer that we need to pay attention to, how we get from one point to another. We also have the position of our feet and our legs to pay attention to, and how that weight is normally distributed. In Tai Chi, we normally have, not all, we have lots of different stepping methods, okay? But the most common stepping method is 1 foot front, 1 foot back, 60% of the weight on the front leg, 40% on the back. Okay. There are other arts, Xingyi among them, that reverses that. So 40% on the back, or excuse me, 60% on the back, 40% on the front. For Tai Chi, we're centered more over the front leg. We don't want 50-50. Unless you're doing something in particular. We normally don't want 50-50 at any time. That means you're double weighted. It means that in order to move, you have to do something else. If your weight is 60-40, turn this way. Okay. 60-40. I don't have to do anything to do something else. I'm already forward on this leg. I can keep going in this direction from this leg. I can do something with this leg. I'm prepared for that because of the way that my weight is distributed. If it's 50-50, I have to move something else first. 50-50 means it's equal, right? I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. Now I can go somewhere. I can do something. We create the opportunity for ourselves with our stepping methods. All right? So as we're stepping, show this and then we're going to learn it. So my feet are about shoulder width apart. So as we're stepping, there's a natural shift of the weight. And as we transfer through, that weight transfer happens along with the movement. All right? I'm going this way for a second. (60-40), and I shift back, right? Turn the toes, transfer the weight forward, release the back leg, bring it through, place it, and transfer the weight again. And shift. Each time I end up in this stance. 6 here, 4 here. The position of the foot matters as well. So I talked about this being about shoulder width. If it's a little bit wider, if it's a little bit narrower, it's okay. The goal for the standing practice is to put your body in good alignment, to find where there are places that have tension, that are not nicely placed, right? As we start moving, we need to pay attention to where that placement happens so that we can be nicely placed. All right? So if I start here, my feet about shoulder width apart, again, I just put my hands here so they're out of the way. I'm going to shift. My right toes turn to 45. As I transfer the weight onto my right leg, release the left leg, right? I need to make sure that I'm not leaning over here, or leaning back here, or leaning forward. Because if I am, when I pick this leg up, I'm going to fall over, right? So if my hip is aligned with my heel, and my shoulder is aligned with my hip, transferring the weight's fairly easy. And yeah, there has to be some strength to support it. As I put my foot down, there's particulars for I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to transfer the weight through the back leg, not over, through. So it's not up and over, it's through. Through the back leg into the front leg, so that I end up with 60 here and 40 here in the back. When I pull my front foot back, I pull my front foot straight back. I'm looking for one of my fists. My head in the way? Yeah, there it is. One of my fists in between my 2 feet. That's roughly the space for my hips to allow my legs to drop straight down out of the hip. That's what we want. The leg's going to move and turn. We're going to have all kinds of other stepping methods. But the fundamental stepping method, and this is going to be true whether you're practicing Wu style, Chen style, Wudang style, Yang style, Guangping Yang, Wu Hao. Any of the systems have a similar, very similar to this, fundamental stepping method that we're going to use. This is the Taiji stepping method. Xingyi stepping method, Bagua stepping method is different. Right? I teach both of those. They're different. For Tai Chi, we have this rolling transfer of weight shifting back and forth. In the classics, we say Tai Chi moves like a great river, flowing, never ending to the ocean. Those waves on the river, that is part of our stepping method. So as we're stepping, there's that sense of rolling, continuous movement. Right? When you put your foot down, right? So I'm here. As I'm going to reach out to put my foot down, I'm looking, where am I going to put it? Where do I put it? Ah, there. Right? That sense of straight from the hip, and the length of your leg plus the strength of your supporting leg gives you the length of your step. So as I'm here, I'm going to stay taller. This knee is not going to bend so much. As I bring this foot, let me go this way. As I bring my foot through, that's as far as my step is going to go. Because that's the length of my leg plus my supporting leg. Right? As I am able to sink lower, I can extend the foot further. Right? So as we develop this strength, as we develop the ability to hold over the supporting leg, we gradually sink lower to the point that for most of the systems, the thigh is, for several movements, the thigh is parallel to the ground. There are exceptions to this. There are some exceptions in Wu style as well as in Wudang style, where we want to be in a taller, I guess is a good way to say it, a taller stance. These are part of those systems. These stances are part of those systems. The development of the strength and the holding strength through the legs and the upper body is what we really want to pay attention to. If I'm developing strength here, great. If I'm here, that's okay, that's good. If I'm down here, that's fine too. And there's some adjustments to be made for going a little bit lower. Alright? So as we practice, we develop that ability. It's important in the sense that we need it for our overall practice so that we can do what we want to do when we want to do it. That's movement at will. It's not essential, right? So if your Tai Chi practice says, if your body, I'm going to put it this way, if your body says, yep, that's as far as I'm going today, that's fine. That's fine. The points of practice that you need to apply can be applied regardless of how low your stance is or which form you're practicing, right? Points to pay attention to: are my feet well placed? Is my body centered over my legs, right? If I'm going to step, I need to be able to suspend up here so that I can move my legs under me, right? Am I well placed over my legs? Have I transferred the weight fully? And am I in good alignment to be able to step through? If the answer is yes, then it's pretty easy. If the answer is no, we have to find where that alignment is. We have to find that strength and develop it. In this particular move, just the stepping method. Yeah, I know I'm going on along about stepping method. It's important. And this is the beginning. I'm making assumptions here. So, I'm making assumptions. All right, so as we're stepping, right here, I should be able to put my leg wherever I want it to go. If I don't want to put it down, it shouldn't be necessary for me to put it down. That's finding your balance and being able to sustain it. And I'm going to tell you, this is not bulk strength. This is more about getting that alignment and holding it, just holding it, right? Like you have a little squishy blanket or something, or you have a balloon that it's long, and you can wrap your hands around it and you can push in a little bit, and that's the kind of feeling that you want through every muscle in your body. Muscle to the bone. Pull it in. That kind of strength, this intrinsic tensile strength that develops over time and that uses our own physiology, our own, this is not some magical thing, our own physiology to develop this strength. And then Tai Chi takes it a couple of steps further. There's a couple of different types of strength that we can develop in addition to the physical strength in Tai Chi. One of them is called Tingzhi, listening skill. This we use in Tai Chi push hands practice. Another is called Kongzhi. It's called emptying skill. This is something we can use in application as well as in our own personal practice to clean out the closet, if you will. So, and there's a few others. So as we develop our Tai Chi practice, we have the physical aspects, we have the mental aspects, which are calming the mind, paying attention to what you're doing, noticing the little details, working on this whole idea of what are these connections and how do they work and how can I achieve this goal for what I'm going to try to get to in my practice. What do I need to get there? Fundamentals. Every day, fundamentals. All right, now, one of the other things that we want to pay attention to, and I just talked about this, is the idea of connecting the breath and the movement. And I'm going to do a very simple movement. We're going to do this is from traditional, I use this from traditional Yang style Tai Chi. This is real easy to do. So we're going to raise the arms and we're going to press down. That's it. That's the move. That's the outer movement. All right. You don't do this with me. This isn't complicated, right? In Tai Chi, we have several things going on inside while we're doing this movement, including a connection with the breath. So as I open here, as I bring the arms up, I'm going to breathe in. And as I lower the arms, I'm going to breathe out. And that breath, I have several more things to talk about just with this one move, okay? This beginning. And there's a bunch of stuff that goes with. All right, so just this one move, right? Breathe in, breathe out. That breath is continuous and extends throughout the entire movement. It is not breathe in, stop, breathe out, stop, breathe in, stop, breathe out, stop. No. We don't do that Tai Chi. Throughout each move, the breath should be smooth and continuous. And I'm going to give an example. It's from some teaching of Professor Liu Zhang, who has been my teacher for 30 plus years. His idea on showing how the breath works. There's a lighting change outside there. And his idea in showing how the breath works is using Chinese Hu Shi, which is literally breathe in and breathe out. Hu is breathe in, Hu Shi is breathe out. So Hu Shi refers to the physical mechanism of breathing. As I breathe in, Hu. As I breathe out, Shi. Hu. Shi. That breath extends through the body, through the entire movement. It helps us to connect the internal mind, spirit, energy, chi, with the external, the physical movement, and the breath. As we practice, we're going to incorporate this type of breathing. And again, this is something that every Tai Chi system and the few others, particularly in the internal arts, asks us to develop so that as we're moving, our breath is well connected and well coordinated with the movement that we're doing. If it's not, you become winded. The movements are never complete. The movements will appear as duckweed, floating on a pond, disconnected from any route, and they'll appear awkward and uncoordinated. I've judged a tournament for 15 plus years. I've seen people do this. It's a fault. It's something that is part of Taiji learning. At the beginning, it's hard to do. It's really hard to do. I remember a few things, not everything, but I remember a few things back when I got started. It's hard to do. Connecting the breath with the movement the way that we want to do it in Taiji practice is hard to do. A few months, a couple of years. Normally, each person develops on their own. There's no specific timetable for when the light bulb goes off and it's like, oh yeah, hey, that felt good, I'm going to do that again. And that coordination starts to happen. It can be a couple of months. It can be a year or so. For anybody that I've taught at depth, within a year, there's some sensitivity to what I'm talking about. So, and part of that is my explaining what you're looking for. If you don't, if you don't know what you're supposed to practice, if you don't know how to practice, if nobody ever tells you that beyond what you're doing, standing here and doing this, is anything other than waving your hands, how are you supposed to know? It annoys me when that happens. So, this exercise, we have breathe in and breathe out. In addition to what's going on with just that, as I bring my arms up, I'm going to exaggerate this. This is from traditional Yang style Tai Chi. As I bring my arms up, I have the sense of doing this. I've exaggerated it. This is the move. Inside. Watch my hands. Notice the outside of my wrist is turned a little bit more. It's not here, it's here. That's because my arm and my shoulder are turned a little bit more. You wouldn't notice that if I didn't tell you. A little bit. It's a very subtle thing. And that is fundamental for Tai Chi, is that subtle movement. And for the most part, it's hard to see unless you have either practiced or been introduced to what to look for. Turn here. Shoulders. Watch my upper back. Very small. I'm hoping this camera is picking it up. And I'll, don't even want to think about the camera right now. Alright, so I'm hoping this camera is picking it up. In person, it would be feasible to have people actually see this and look at it. It's small. It's subtle. It's not, let me hunch my shoulders over and do some weird thing with my back. No, it's very subtle. It's just enough so that as I bring my arms up, I'm going to come up from inside and open just a little bit. It's just a little, it's really small. It's really small, and press down. There's an application behind this. Someone grabs my shoulders here, or my neck. Sink both arms up. Open. This opens. And there's multiple opportunities for how this can open. Open. Move the arms. And push. This is also a fundamental principle of all Taiji systems. There's an application behind there somewhere. If you can't see it, fine. That's there's an application there. Multiples of them, in fact. So there's not a necessary one-to-one. This one move has this one application. No. This one move can have 5 or 6 different applications depending on the circumstance. This one principle can have multitudes of applications. The principle of ward off, Peng, has multiple physical movements that can incorporate that energy. So there's no one-to-one, this move has this move has that, you got to do this, you got to, no. Following the principles that underlie the movement gives us what we should be doing in that movement. For Yang style, one of the principles is that the body tends to be open and the movements tend to be fairly large. Okay? There's a small circle form, there's a medium circle form, there's a large circle form. There are multiple variants. The traditional Yang style from Yang Cheng Fu, Yang Jing Do, has large frame movements. These were large frame people. There are some minor adaptations from my first Yang style teacher, Huang Weilun, because he was a gentleman from southern China, small frame person, extremely flexible. So, and with that, his teaching followed the principles of Yang style Tai Chi. This sweeping, larger movement. As my arms come up, sink into the legs. Settle. Bend the knee. As if you're trying to bring your arms up and there's something holding them down. That there's a weight that you have to remove. That you have to move this weight in order to raise your arms. And it's not enough to use only your arms. You have to use your whole body. So from the heels all the way up, through the whole body. As you press down, sink. This is, again, this idea that there's something here and you're going to move it down, and there needs to be weight and strength in order to do that. You have to keep your balance. If I push down here and I'm not using my entire body to do it, I'm going to lean forward. It's physics. Basic physics, that's going to happen. I'm going to lean forward. Back stays straight. Pull up. All of this pulls up straight as you press down. So there's strength through the entire body, just in this one movement. It also needs to be, apparently, it needs to have the appearance of softness. Now we're gonna, that's kind of the Frankenstein version. No, don't do that. Right? Too soft is no good either. That's the wave your hands, hi, bye. Bye, hi, how are you? No! Don't do that either! Don't do that! Please don't do that! The hands are lively and full of energy. Oh, there's so much going on. The Laogong is open, there's so much going on with the hands. And the hands show the result of what's going on within. So as just with this simple movement, if the hands are empty, if there's nothing here, right? They're lively. And there's strength. It's not strength. It's this resilient kind of, I can move, and I'm moving through this, and I'm deliberately doing a lot of extra things. I'm moving through this, and there is full flexibility in each and every muscle to do whatever I've decided I'm going to do right now. Nothing is tense, nothing is stiff, everything is working. And we have this in traditional Taiji as well, this idea that when one part moves, all parts move. When one part is still, all parts are still. The all parts are still. Everything is still, including the mind. Quiet the mind, quiet the body. And breathe. Just breathe. Stay there, don't move. All right. Relax. It's harder to do than you think, huh? These kinds of things give us insights and some of the skills that we need to develop a higher level of Tai Chi practice. The idea of balancing the body through the movement gives us the ability to relax as we're moving. This idea of pulling into the bone, of using the muscles as they are naturally designed to work. This is our own human physiology. Using that gives us a type of resilient strength that carries into all sorts of things in daily life as well as in Taiji practice. The notion of becoming familiar with our own physiology. How long is my arm? How long is my leg? Do I have the... right? This is something that is essential for any kind of physical practice. You have to know your own body. You have to. There's no other way to do it. It doesn't work any other way. The other thing that you have to come to know, particularly with Tai Chi, you have to come to know yourself. Because we are working with an internal art. We are working with how do I think? How do I feel? How do I move? How does this movement make me feel? And how can I use these movements to change that? Makes me feel great. I'm going to keep doing it. That doesn't make me feel so good. What's going on? Right? As we practice, these things will come up. It's human. It's human. What we do with them in our practice is what gives us our practice. I'm shopping for a calendar and I saw something that it's a Zen cone. The obstacle is the path. I'm going to say that again. The obstacle is the path. As we practice, we find tension, we find things we don't know, we find issues in our own past, in our background, in the way that we look at things that can be obstacles to our practice. As we find those things, as we explore them, as we learn about them, as we discover what they are and how they got there, that's the path. I'll be here tomorrow for Advanced Tai Chi. This is beginning Tai Chi. I'm hoping that you enjoyed my ramblings a bit today. A little bit more on physical practice next week. And again, I'll be here for Advanced Tai Chi tomorrow, for Wudang's 3 basic methods on Wednesday, Xingyi on Thursday, and Qigong, the easy sets 1 through 9 this week on Friday. I will see you then, I hope. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.